So, so in case people who didn't make it, they can watch it later. So we are recording, and now I'm going to turn the session over to our local artist, Dee Dee Taylor, who is going to jump on here in a second and teach you all how to make a beautiful painting. So let me switch my screen here. I just have to turn off my virtual background. Oops, nope, none, close. All right, hi Dee Dee, you're on.
I am on. Hi, my name's Dee Dee. I am an art teacher. So we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna paint today some sunflowers since you're all gonna be growing these. They're just easy. I don't know, you guys are ag students, right?
Mhm.
So we wanted to pick something agricultural, and since Hawaii has a beautiful sunflower, we wanted to represent. So here we go. So the first thing I'd like to do when I paint is I do an underpainting, but this takes an hour to dry. So this is something for you to put in your memory bank. And so basically I just did a blue sky. Yeah. And so if you paint without an underpainting, you see where your paint touches your edge. And you got to go in there later with little details, which is fun because that helps you focus your finished painting. But if you don't do an underpainting, you somehow have to fill in the background. But with acrylics, you can layer and layer and layer, and it's never a mistake. It's always a happy accident. So we're going to start with a drawing of sunflowers. So since you may not know how to draw a sunflower, can we zoom into the sunflowers for a moment? And we're basically going to let you guys have 2 seconds to draw like half a flower if you could. And I want to show you a really quick way to draw something real quick. So onto the canvas, if you could. So what I like to do is I look at the edge of the flower. Oh, and one thing is too, you don't want to put your flower smack dab in the center. Van Gogh would be very upset with you. So you have to divide your painting into 9 squares. So, and you pick one of those corners to put your subject matter. Sorry, I'm a little artistic friendly. So we're going to do a sunflower up in the corner here. So basically it's got that brown center, and then it's got these little leaves. So what I do is I kind of just draw it like this. Okay, because we're going to draw with our paint, and then you're going to put in the flowers. Okay. So it's pretty easy to draw sunflower, you know. And then if you don't want it to be like flat against the wind, then you have like little ones coming up like this around the flower. Okay. So now we're going to go into painting.
Is everybody?
Well, I'll give them a second. Yeah. So that's a real quick way. And if you want to take your time, then it looks like this. But this doesn't take that long too. So basically I went in with the edges and then I filled it in to be more exact. But since you guys don't have a reference, like if you want to look on Google, art or something, you can get a better looking sunflower, or you can just, have fun with it. Okay. So that's a quick one. How's everyone doing on a quick drawing? Because we're like, trying to go quick.
Yeah, don't you have to go too quick though.
We don't? Okay.
Yeah, just
okay.
Relax.
So all right. So then pencil lines show up in your paints, especially yellow. So then I go back with my eraser and I clean it up a little bit and kind of go with the fibers of the canvas, because then you don't destroy your eraser so much. Or if anyone has a gum eraser, those are really good. But a pencil eraser works nicely. And then it's rubber, so you can just keep going with it. You can really clean it up. And then I don't throw away my little rubber erasers because they're just picking up dirt. So if this one looks dirty, isn't that a fun trick? You can clean it up too. And it cleans up your canvas. So it's not so dark, because on this one, you can see I didn't clean up my pencil lines. So now if you don't paint a pencil line, you can erase it, but see, it won't erase once it's painted, but here it's not painted, so you can erase it. So if that helps you guys when you're going along and you want to get rid of pencil lines, those are the ones you can erase. That helps?
You want to draw another quick sunflower on the other one?
Yeah.
Go a little slower. maybe.
Okay, yeah, okay. So basically, I'm doing this one. You want to show them that flower? Can we do a screenshot of it?
Yeah.
So basically, it sticks out a little bit, and then there's these roughly petals that go around it. So you kind of go like that, and throw one up in there and one back, and then you'll make some go underneath, and some go in there. So you guys are going to be freeform because you don't have a flower to look at. Should we start painting? Is everyone ready? Well, I'll just discuss the colors. So we have a white. Is this too fast?
I think you're okay. Are they okay, Michelle?
Okay, so the paint cap is your plunger, your poker. And so that's at the top. So you take it off and you go like this. You just go like this. No, use gravity. Okay, and then there comes your white paint. And then your cap is dirty and messy. So if you want, you can, I would just rinse it off in the water because it's so messy. Oh, once it's on your paper towel, it's always. So get a paper towel just to clean those. It's gonna be messy. Okay. And then there's not that much of this color on there.
What is that color?
This is, I would call it peach, Misty Rose. So let's see if it matches the name. Oh yeah, so it's like a flesh color. We're not gonna use that much of that one. But it's fun because you can use that for low lights and highlights. Vermilion, which should be red. You don't need that much of this one. And you need a hole in it. So kind of keep tabs on these things. They can be all over the place. Okay, we're gonna use a lot of yellow. Should open these before, sorry.
That's okay. They're opening in theirs too.
Okay. Yeah, give yourself some paint. And then this is, oh, that was lemon, and this one's yellow. Doesn't matter, we can use both. This one's done. There we go. Ooh, that's a good color. Well, you know what else? You can take a paintbrush and go like this. And then it's not so messy. Just kind of clean it up like that. You don't want paint all over your clothes. That's what I'm famous for.
Me too. That's why they call me Messy Jessie.
So cute. Okay. And of course, we don't have the brown for the center of the flower yet. And they have let's see, crimson. You have a raw sienna and a raw umber. I like the raw umber. Or burnt umber. Raw umber is a little lighter. And burnt sienna. Oh, that's a fun color. The reason they umber and sienna, those are earth colors, and if they use the dirt to make pink colors and other things.
Which one was that one?
This one is okra. That's how I say it. People say okra, but I don't know what you're saying, so I say okra. I think that's the vegetable, right? Okra.
Okay. Yeah. Michelle, I think there was a question.
The color next to white.
Oh, what is the color next to white?
Misty Rose.
Misty Rose.
So we're going to start with the center flower. We're going to put brown in there. And part of painting is the way you apply it. So I am just stippling it, they call this.
Question on which red is that?
The vermilion. Is there more than one red? Oh, there is. Oh, scarlet. Scarlet's pretty too. You can use either one.
So vermilion or scarlet.
Yeah.
And which brown are you using right now?
This is the burnt umber.
Okay.
It doesn't really matter what brown you use because you're the artist. I want you guys to use your own artistic driver's license. We want to clean your brush pretty good after brown because it's when it gets into the colors, it's really dangerous. Okay. I like to keep my brush wet. I don't clean the water out of it sometimes because it's better for the paint. It moves better. I think I already paint on my leg. Okay, so I'm gonna skip painting next to the brown because I want it to dry a little bit. And I'm gonna start with the yellow leaf. So I go in the corners. Oh, you guys, how's the drawings? Do you guys have drawings down yet? Are they pretty good? I'm like not going too fast. How are we
I
doing?
think you are good. No one has any questions.
Okay. So now that it's nice and wet, I'm going to throw in a little bit of red or the scarlet, whatever we used, just to do the shadow. And I did too much, but since it's wet, you can go backwards and clean it up a little. And you can blot it. Yay. So there's just like enough little to separate it and make it look fiery. Yeah. So I'm going to skip that petal and not finish it either. And I'm going to go to the next petal because I like stuff to dry a little bit as I'm going between.
What paintbrush are you using?
Oh, just enough to hold a lot of paint. So whatever you guys can handle, the more paint, the more fun it is.
Is there a
So which
number
one is
on
this?
it?
It's a 6 or 9. It's somewhere in between. Oh, it's probably a 9. This is a 10. Yeah, so it's a 9. And then this one's a 7. You can use a 7 or a 9. I like this flat one because it holds a lot of paint. Yeah. And you're just going to paint out your petals. Leave a lot of paint on there. Okay.
Here you go to get some globbies are okay.
Yeah, globbies are great because we have an hour. We're going to try and do this and finish it. So try and just feel your petals. You know, if you guys have a reference point, that's great. If not, just draw like loose, happy petals. Okay, now to make them interesting. You don't really have to clean the yellow off because it's a really good undercolor. So I grabbed some Misty Rose and I'm going to put it in here. Oops, it's a little wet. Let's dry it off. Yeah, totally dry it off. So acrylics are plastic, so the water floats, yeah? So, nope, still too wet. There's a lot of tricks about painting wet on wet or wet on dry or dry on dry. And that'll show up your canvas will give you texture. So I'm trying to get this on here. That's working. There we go.
Yes, so there was a question about so you suggested to sort of erase the pencil markings after you put them on to dull them out.
You just paint over them, you know, and the whiter your paint, like this Misty Rose has a lot of white in it. Like you can see the yellow, the paint lines are coming through and I'm covering it with the Misty Rose and it's covering it up. So that's why I like this because the white is opaque and the other colors are translucent. So anytime you add white to your paint, you make it opaque.
Oh.
Yeah, and paint doesn't work like light. It's really different. Yeah. Okay. So now we're going to go back to this little, the center. And everybody always wanted to know how to use one of these brushes.
Oh.
These are fan brushes. So when you go like this, it makes like a circle for you. I'll show you on this. I'll show you on our painting palette. So I didn't apply the pressure right. Well, what happens is more paint applies to the edges than your center. So this is supposed to have more paint on it and your center is supposed to be lighter. So it gives you that, we'll try. What I wanted this for was to paint the little stipplers, the little yellow, a little color on top of the brown.
And this is the red you're using?
Yeah. You can use orange or yellow or, and the brush is too big, but I think no such thing as an accident. You just go back with the brown and you fix it. I didn't want any red on the middle of my flower, just on the edges of the center. So if you can see, where's the one I painted already? I put red in there and yellow. Just because I think that's how they look. Well, this one's a little fiery, isn't it? But we'll calm it down. That's not a problem. You put a little yellow in there. You can use any yellow. Oops, I stepped on my board. And you just dabble out a mistake. There you go. All right. I like this brush because it's almost the same size as a petal. And I got this really neat trick. So you clean your brush, get all the brown out. And we're going to grab some yellow. And I'll show you on the tray. It's a lot of paint. When you go down, what happens is the paint is on the edge. And right here at the edge, there's no paint. Right? But at the face, at the edge of it, all the paint comes out. So it makes a real quick stamp to do a petal. Oops. Oh. You get the paintbrush. There, but that's not covering the yeah. That's too much paint. So you can just pop those in there. And then I want one that goes this way. And you can fix your paint. Is that working for you guys? Oh, there's some inside. You see my little. And you can change the color too. Like, we'll go with the lighter yellow.
Oh, do you want to spotlight hers, and then maybe it'll show up big for everybody? There we go.
Okay, so we're gonna go back to the first petal, and we're gonna make it look really pretty.
And you're using the same color yellow?
I'm using a lighter yellow.
Okay.
They should look different because when paint's dry, they actually get darker. We'll see.
So you're using a lighter yellow than you did the first time.
Yeah, one is called lemon and one's called yellow.
Okay. So you're using lemon now?
Yeah. Trying to make a pretty petal. Oops. They covered up my red. I didn't want to do that. We'll go back. Actually, what you could do is mix a little bit of red with the yellow. You guys ever mix colors and you get orange? That way you don't have to open another tube of paint. I used it up already. Keep going until you get the right color. Okay. And then you're gonna put a little fire in there. And it's cool when it's variegated. And then with a dry, wet brush, oh God, there's a lot of paint in here. I mean, not dry wet, a clean wet brush is what I wanted to say.
Clean, wet brush.
Yes. So get rid of the
Can you
paint.
slow down, please?
Oh, sure. I'm just gonna show them how to blend. I use a clean brush, and I just push the paint around like that. And then it's like too much, I just take it off. So you're basically erasing it because you already created a plastic surface, and then the paint will come up on your brush.
Are
And
we
there we have a blended flower.
using
It's
the
so
dark
easy, yeah.
yellow or light yellow by the
And then
brown?
you can work next to it. It's just sometimes they bleed together, but I'll do it for you. So like my paint is a big mess. There's like other colors in it. More power to my creativeness because now I have to like work with how crazy that is. Yeah.
And this is the yellow.
This is the regular, yeah. Since it's the same color, we can go all the way in and then go back and see if you can get some of that orange. La 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 la.
Here's a question, is what brush usually preferred with acrylic paints? And then what kind of yellow do we use?
Acrylics is a lot of people just use them as they are, but they're so slimy and fun. I like to get them wet and play with it. You can use it just as the way it is without adding water to it, but it gives you a little lifetime too to play with it. So it's on your canvas and it's wetter than normal. It gives you a chance to mix the color on the painting itself.
And then she's using, right now, she was using
Just a yellow.
just the yellow. So there's lemon, that she put on her palette, and
Right.
yellow. And then lemon is the lighter one. She was using the darker yellow, the just yellow.
So just getting some
And she mixed some of the
orange. or
vermilion,
yeah.
the vermilion into it over here to make like an orange. So she mixed the yellow with vermilion to make some orange.
So right now I'm rolling the brush to get the paint off so I can use it again. Yeah. So you're gonna go in and dabble, make it, and it's fun, you just kind of make your own shadows and highlights. And we'll get into color shadows and stuff in a second. So this needs more yellow. So I'm not gonna even clean my brush. What a waste of time. We're just gonna throw it on really thick and just be Van Gogh, just have fun with it. Yay, and like this, I need more yellow on it. I want this little things to blow in the wind more. Cover up my pencil lines. How's it working? It's more fun than that one, huh?
Like it.
Okay, so now I want to work on those little, can we show them the little flowers that go around, little short pieces?
The little, the bright orange ones.
No, the yellow ones that go around the center.
Oh, those small little
Yeah,
petals.
small petals.
Okay, so those are those little circular like petals, or
Right, that's-
oval, little oval like petals she's
Yeah,
got
yeah.
over here.
So there's different lengths on the fake flower. But you can draw anything you want, because we don't have a subject matter right in front of us. So you have to be free feeling, right? So I like the way it looks. Actually, it looks better than my sample. Because this was kind of like straightforward. How are they going to paint? I'm like, oh, fun. I'm not going to even bring a pencil, but I broke down and brought a pencil. So you want them to look like they're receding and getting highlighted. So the highlight comes with the white. So you can put a little bit of white on it like that.
So she just dabbed it in white on the tip of her brush.
Yeah. And I just let it fall where it may. It's not a photograph. It doesn't have to be from a source. You get really good at this, you'll figure out where your light source is from the sun or plein air, that's being outside and painting. But
I'm really bad at shadows. I can never figure them out. And I'm a photographer.
well, highlights are more fun, right? They make your painting sparkle. See how they really change the essence? Looks like a 1970s oil painting, but that's
It's perfect. Let's go Bob Rossi.
oh my God. Okay, so now these need some white, but it should be a little dry. Let's see. Nope, it's pretty wet. Don't ever blow dry your paintings. It bubbles the paint off the canvas.
Oh,
And in
good
4
tip.
years, the whole thing will fall off.
Oh, okay. That's a good tip.
So I'm just throwing some white to bring it in a highlight. And it'll fade a lot.
So it's okay to make it a little bit clumpy on there.
Oh yeah. And you see I just removed it. And go to the source there. And this just gives you some dimensions. If you look at any flower petal, it's never perfectly flat. It always has some kind of ridge, like a leaf always has the veins, So you draw it with acrylics, so it's great. So you can paint down your main color. And then when you go back to do your veining, you could either do it really clean to make it in focus, or you can make it fuzzy and make it out of focus. And that's how you make your three-dimensional painting.
Can you repeat the directions for the petals again?
Oh,
Because
sure.
some people are behind.
Okay. So we're painting highlights. Is that where they're stuck?
Or do you want to start on a new petal?
Okay.
And then
Let's do another petal. Clean your brush. I'm going to clean brushes so they can catch up. It looks like a wet bird.
it does.
Isn't this cute? I love this. Okay. So let's do a petal down here. Or doesn't matter. So I grabbed yellow. Lots of yellow. No, you don't need that much. Let's do this. Well, that one still kind of needs work. So I'm going to just put the paint down. You're going to draw out your nice long petals. Yeah. There's another one that's coming out here on me, but. So remember, this is see-through, and I can't handle it being see-through, so I always have to go in with a whiter just to touch it up. And so the orange won't be that much of it in here. Oh, they went in good. I like that. Okay.
So the orange is for the part that's closer to the center.
Right. Right. And then when you have orange on your brush, you're like, do I need more here? Do I want to touch it up? So I'm always dabbing. Dab, dab, dab. Okay. So now I got the yellow in, and we can go in with some white to do those highlights or the crinkles. Yeah. So my brush is really wet, which helps me create a non-controlled line, which makes it look like more artistic, more than if you would draw a perfectly, smooth line. A lot of people call it feathering because I used to use feathers to do that technique. Like we used to blow dry our hair so all the feathers were in her.
Yes.
Right. So the white is really a wet paint that we have. So if you guys don't want to add white to it or water, I get it because it's very wet already. And so this one needs some white. Let's see how it picked up my bump. And when the acrylics dry, they dry really flat. So if you pile on paint, it won't fall off unless you blow dry it off your canvas. So I'm going to switch brushes because the highlight for the white will probably work better for you guys on a pointed brush. So I'm going to put the paint.
What number brush is that one?
This is a 7. So if you can see, there's a point on it. And I'm not going to throw this paint away because I'm super cheap. And I'm going to do those white lines. Like this. So it kind of creates a and then if it's like too heavy for you guys, which for me it is, right? Clean your brush. And then you want to throw in a little yellow to cover it up. Like that line was way too thick. It's supposed to be a hint of white. You can change your yellows too. That makes it so fun.
So you're using the lemon now?
Lemon, yeah, just for contrast. So it doesn't look flat. See how it's bringing life? And like this, there's no life there. There was too much white. Yeah, so kind of squint. Can you see it? Okay. Now, my favorite thing about yellow in acrylics is you can't do it in oils or watercolors. It's purple. So I might as well show you now. Awesome trick. Purple is my go-to color for, and this one says lavender, so hopefully it's a little lighter than purple. And it's my go-to shade color. I don't use gray or black for shadows. I use purple. And with yellow, it's the opposite on the color wheel. It's a wonderful color combination. So right here, I will cast a purple shadow right there. And don't cover up too much of your orange, okay? So there'll probably be another shadow here. So you want a small paintbrush, and you're going to start drawing in shadows. Now, shadows are not broken or, what do you call that? You're not supposed to be able to see through it. So you got to be pretty tight.
No, Nikki, it is purple. It is purple, which is the best color in the whole world. So in the pack, it's called lavender.
Yeah, in the pack, yeah. So right here, there would probably be a shadow. So just, usually I do this at the end, but I don't know how much time we have left. So, oh, we have an hour?
Yeah, you're good.
Oh, good. That's how you do your shadows. You'll see it, it'll pop, but. Okay, good. So onto another petal. And we're just going to be painting petals. Put down a lot of paint. And if you want, this is really fun. Kind of put it together on here, like mush it together. And then I used to use a bigger brush.
Why did you pick these places for the shadow?
It's up to you where you want to put your shadows. I usually do it at the end of the painting, but I didn't know how much time we had. I did a upper left light source, but it'll change, I'm sure. So I have a bunch of colors together, and we're just going to smush this on there. And we're just going to get in there.
So you stuck the lemon and the yellow together?
Yes. Just because I thought it would streak, but it didn't. Sometimes they say separated. This one they kind of blended. We're just going to go in and do all the petals. Let's just use one color. It's fine. Oh, another thing is if you want to put your hand down, just put your pinky down. That way you don't put your hand down on the canvas. Can you see my pinky?
Yeah.
So it holds up my hand so I don't go like this.
Yeah, I always have that problem.
Right?
And
And then you end up with, I already have, okay. And then I always like to paint my brush, clean my brush with my other fingers. So now for, we gotta do this one in here. Does that look like a sunflower? We're getting there.
So when creating shadows, don't use black?
Never. Not if you take up this class.
So you prefer to use purple for your shadows?
Every time, especially on flowers, orchids, flowers, anything, yeah. Just because they it's an earthy color, and black is the absence of color. So I don't know. I just never. I found purple, and it's really fun.
It's because it's purple, and it's the best color.
See,
Cody, it's the best color.
So just fill it in. So we'll basically color all this yellow because it is yellow. We'll just separate it.
But if you put like a fan on it, that would be okay. Not too high though.
Nah, it'll try. It'll go. Then I like to put a little yellow. We'll use a little brush. Or actually, if you're good, you get the corners of your brushes. I don't know if I can do it on these brushes.
Nicole is asking, so where do you put the shadows? Again?
Oh, well, you pick a light source. So you put in highlights and lowlights, and then we'll do the shadows. I didn't know how much time we had, so I just threw in some shadows just to get started. But let's make
We'll do more at the end.
Yeah, this one
Yeah,
usually
so
does.
don't worry about the shadows right now, Nicole.
Yeah. So you can either open up your orange. Do we have orange? We have orange. Open that up. Let's see what that card looks like.
She's opening up the orange color now.
It's close to what we were doing. And then take some off of there so it doesn't make a big mess. You like it? Mm-hmm. So if you think your flower's not big enough, go ahead and make it big. So now I got the orange. I'm gonna use a small brush. And this one always got yellow on it. And I don't clean my brushes. I use the paint over and over.
Oh.
So I'm gonna go in there and paint like just the under piece, like where it's close to the, oops, I didn't want to do that.
So the juncture between the,
Yeah. So
Sorry,
just
guys,
see how it
the
separates?
gimbal's going weird. Okay, we're good.
And you can go from orange to red, which makes it really exciting. So right now I got a little bit of red on my brush, and then I'm gonna get rid of it and put some orange on there and finish that bit line.
So these are the junctures between the petals.
Yes.
Okay.
That's very good. The nooks and crannies, right?
So you're using orange and the vermilion.
See, when you clump your paint, you got left over, so you can push it around again. Oops, tried too fast. Is it working? Yeah. Oops, it's water seeping out of the brush. Oops, I didn't want to do that. And if you don't like what you did and you think, well, how am I going to get rid of it? Wait, let's put some, oops, too much water. And you just put like a little bit of white in there and it fixes everything. Oh, it's right there. I wanted it. There. So you think Van Gogh would be impressed?
Absolutely.
How about Post Malone?
I don't know Post Malone. Why don't I
Oh,
know
he
Post
sings that
Malone?
song, Sunflower. Michelle, hit it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm hip. Hip grandma.
Hipper than me.
Yeah. Oh, it's a great song. So like I got, it's called a happy accident when you get a color where you didn't want it. And you're like, oh, what do I do? It's a happy accident. So the underflower, the underpetal here, this, you want this one a little darker. And I know it's not orange in real life, but when the sun hits it and it's got a shadow on it, it's a little darker. So like this one should be a little darker.
So this is like kind of like every other petal in the background.
Exactly. Sunflowers are very particular in their spacing. Yeah. There's so many petals and so many flowers underneath. You know how many, push that around. So like this one needs some love. So I'm going to gloop in. Oops, that's a lot of gloop. Put in the yellow. Yeah, this is so close in color when they're wet. I'm hoping when they dry, they'll be a little different. Oh, I didn't tell you guys, when you roll your brush on a round brush, doesn't work on the flat one, but when you roll it, you paint. You can get extra paint out of your brush. And you get this cool technique, right? You see that works really good when you do plumeria flowers and you want to do the rolled bud. And if you roll your green and blue purple together for, and it's beautiful, but it helps your point. And so you can, change the edge. Rolling a brush is a really fun painting. Here, we'll do one here. Make a little orange on here. You see a little orange and yellow? And we're just gonna roll. Ooh, did it come
I was
up?
asking for what flowers?
Oh, the plumeria flowers. You know, like when the plumeria buds.
It has like a rolled, and you just roll your brush. So you can see I made a mess. Oops, so what do? Get a little white and we cover it up. Oh, I have backwards. Oh, see, all the boo-boo went away.
That's really cool.
Right? So it's like, what's this mess? It's gonna be hard. So is anybody having fun yet?
Can you go back after it dries and sort of layer the paint?
Just the layer?
Yeah, after it dries, can you layer the paint? Like,
Oh yeah. Acrylics you can work on forever. One of the things when you work on a canvas like this, it has paint on the fabric, but when you're gonna do a really good one and you're not gonna throw it away, use gesso. And it's a clear glue that you put on your painting, and it's a medium that will protect the canvas and absorb the paint.
Oh, I
Yeah.
always wonder what that was.
And then when I'm finished, I like shiny. I'll get a can of clear acrylic outdoor UV protected spray paint. It's like $5, $5.50 at Home Depot, and you spray everything and it comes out glossy, and it smells really bad for about a day. So do it outside. Yeah. So now I took orange and white and I mixed it together just because I want another color. Yeah. Oh, that's pretty. So then I'm going to go in here and highlight some of the red. Dot, dot, dot. We love dots.
Does anybody know what the pattern of the sunflower seeds is inside the center?
Is it like a, I don't know,
Is it
what's the word?
Fibonacci sequence?
Fibonacci. It's the golden angle.
Is it?
Fibonacci.
That's what Cody said.
Yep.
Isn't it what the paintbrushes were called?
Oh, I don't know.
Benici.
Oh, Benici. Yeah. No. Fibonacci. The seeds are in that pattern so that it can fit the maximum number of seeds into that space.
Really?
Yes. Yes. So that's the head of the flower at the center, RB, where the seeds are.
I lost my brown, so I'm going to go back. Oh, my brush is too wet.
It's because nature is amazing.
These brushes hold a lot of water.
So which one are you doing now?
I'm doing brown. I covered up my brown flower part too much. I didn't want that much light. Let's go back. It's still too messy for me. I gotta fix it. There we go. Yeah, just need a little bit of highlight. Never happy. Okay. So we could either separate the petals or we can push them together.
And so this is that yellow light orange that you're using?
That was the Misty Rose.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'm trying to make these flowers on this side a little lighter than these. So it gives you depth that way. It should actually be the other way around. But that's okay. So it can't be perfect on canvas. Things move. They don't go down on the canvas because they'll go into the pits. So don't let that bother you when you're putting paint down. Because you always go back and cover it up with the background or with the petal or, oh, should we do a green leaf? You guys ready for a green leaf? You guys want to finish your
You want
flower?
to finish the flower?
I bet you guys' stuff is beautiful. I can't wait to see it. Oops, what's this?
You okay?
I'm just thinking, what should we do next? We'll do the green leaf. Okay, I pulled the leaf off of my flowers. So I'm actually drawing, this is the same size as the flower. I didn't change the scale. So leaf is fun. I thought it'd be best if we did it to scale. When a leaf is, on the plant, it's, it's twisted or there's a piece folded. So like here, I did a little turnip, but this is a better example. So if you're gonna draw it, you could actually just draw this shape. What would you call this shape? A leaf shape. And a lot of people just draw it right off the plant, which I thought, oh no, we shouldn't do that. So what did I come up with? Yeah, so I drew a few different ones. And then artistically, when you have, this is crazy, when you have a leaf and they're all pointing in the same direction, you do one here, one do, like, it looks like a stamp. So you want to change your points, right? Just like the flower, you don't want them all pointing in the same direction. Same thing with the point of your end of your leaf. So this one goes down, up, and a little bit off. I think this one's more down than that one. Okay. Then this one has that curve. Does that make sense? So like this, it has like a turned in piece like that. And then
An obovate leaf shape. Oh, thank you. It's a science word for that shape of leaf.
what's it called?
Obovate?
Sure.
Ms. Arby, you want to
Stretch.
say it for
Can you
us?
stand?
It's obovate, so like oblong
Let's
and
work on this one.
ovate.
Thank you, Arby.
Awesome. Oh, we didn't squeeze out any green paint.
See, we're learning science and art. It's awesome.
Well, it's a botanical, so it has to. Yeah. Are you guys familiar with like Audubon's drawings? He drew like everybody's particular piece and then drew it together.
No.
He was a scientist, but he was an artist. And then I have friends here that used to draw like body parts, and now there's computers that will draw the heart beating and and turning. And she used to do that all by hand.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So there's lots of art and science. Even the little thing that you're holding is science and art together.
Yeah.
Okay. Ugh, get old. Okay, we're gonna do a leaf. Oh yeah, I did have the green, but I didn't pour it out yet. So we have emerald green. At a time.
Yes, botanical art is actually an entire discipline.
What's that?
She said botanical art is actually like an entire discipline of art.
Oh. So this is emerald green, but it's more like a mint green. So open up your sap green, which is supposed to be one of my favorite colors. Emerald green is a little Irish.
Yes.
Let's see how this one like. Oh, there we go.
So emerald green and sap.
Sap.
Sap green.
Yeah, those are, clean up those things so they don't get messy all over your clothes. Okay, if you're messy, wear an apron. If you like to paint off the edge of your canvas like this one did, use a tablecloth.
We can clean it up.
I know. Okay, so I'm not going to draw the leaf, just so you guys get a feeling like how to just do Van Gogh. He didn't draw, he didn't have a pencil. Okay, Rembrandt, they didn't use pencils. Michelangelo didn't use a pencil. And Michelangelo was cool when he started sculpting. He started at the head, and it was perfect before he moved an inch down. He knew exactly what he was going to do until he got to the toe. So throw away your pencil. We're going to do a leaf. So we want our point to be out here. So we'll put a point there, and we want a point of a petal to be there, and we want a point to be like here. Okay. So this one we'll just draw the shape. That oblique, what did you say it was?
Oblate.
We're all learning something. So there's your petals. Not your petals, your leaves. So this one has a jagged edge. And so you can just do that just going like this. And it's way fun. It doesn't have to be perfect. And just use the paint that you put down. Oops, how do you do it backwards? This way. And then you can tell yourself where the vein goes, just to have it. And then I like to leave some of the white. And when you color it in, just kind of glue it all together. And this is when you can shape your petal from your sunflower. And you can scale it down a little bit or make it pointier. But your background comes in like that. Yeah. Ooh, acrylics are fun. Oops, I lost my little thing. I was getting away from myself. Oh, sometimes the strokes are kind of important. If my strokes went like this, you would, it shows up. So you try and pull it all in the right direction. And try and leave a little white. It's a really fun way to make your stuff look really high end. I have one painting that I was working with, and in photography, they call it your moonrise, because Ansel Adams was a great photographer when he had to carry around a big box camera and he had to expose the film for hours. So if the light changed or something, he ruined a slide of film. But so when you have a good one, you call it your moonrise. And so my moonrise painting didn't look anything like a turtle. It's just like my whimsy, crazy baby turtle. And I think because I didn't pre-draw it and I just painted, it came out really cute. And so I always throw away those pencils. So that's not a bad leaf, yeah? And then grab some of that emerald and then try and get a point on your brush. Oops, I'm kind of mixing it right now to get that, so it's not so, just a shade lighter.
So you're mixing the emerald and the sap green
Right,
together.
and it's mostly sap. Oh my God, these brushes are so. I want to clean the brush. But we should do a palette flowers so they can see how to do a palette petal. So now it's a little lighter. So I'm going to come in here and just do my vein. And you don't want it perfect because it's just boring. Oops. Just want a little bit of paint on the edge of your brush. Yay. And then clean your palette knife off after scraping everything. Okay. Let's do a palette flower, see a palette leaf.
Do you guys have your palette knife that came with your set?
This is really hard. It's not the easiest thing ever. So it's like, I don't know, putting butter in your toast.
Oh.
Yeah. So you get a lot of texture. And if you push hard, the canvas shows up. And so some people like it and some people hate it. So I put it on the bottom. I don't know why. Yeah. So don't put it on the top. So, and then you put the few colors together. Yeah. So you just kind of
Mush it around with the edge of the.
Yeah. It's actually the wrong direction because they leave. Oops. Sorry, I put it on the top, but it's supposed to be on the bottom. And then get your edge. I'm better with a paintbrush. Anyway, I was never good at buttering my toast. Too many carbs. Okay, so that's not. My palette knife, which I brought mine. Where is it? Yeah, mine's flat. So I don't know. Barbara, show me how to use this one. Mine's flat, so it's easier. So let's see. So I kind of use it as like a push. And then I push the edges. Oops, there's too much. So I'm getting the same edge, but it's like, it's kind of on a free will. It's like let you do your artistic license kind of thing. Come on. Oh, there's nothing wrong without turning your painting around. You know, a lot of people will mask off their paper on a board and paint real tight. And I don't, I let the water fall all over the place. And I let paint hit the floor. It's much more fun. Unless you're in someone else's house, they won't. So that's what the palette knife is for. This one's great. That's good. Yeah, I never wash my brushes that much because what happens is when the water gets in here, the brush will expand. The wood part will expand. And then when it dries, this falls off because it shrinks smaller than here. Or this paint chips out and the hugging thing here was crimped down knowing that this paint was here, but since it swelled and shrunk again, the paint will break off, for instance. All my brushes. So don't ever leave your brushes in the water. You're better off leaving paint on them. Oh no. I won't tell you just what happened, but we fixed the bad habit.
I think I just learned something super valuable.
My dad taught me that trick, and I just inherited his paintbrushes that he had in college. And my dad was 95 years old. So those brushes he had forever. But back in those days, you know, getting a paintbrush was impossible. You almost had to make it yourself. No, he's not a caveman, but. And paintbrushes are made of animal, but if you want a stable one now, you have to go to Russia. They don't sell them in America anymore because the animal rights. But you can get squirrel and synthetic. But the reason we use animal fur is because it doesn't absorb the water and it make the water beads off. Just, you know, be like a duck and your water beads off you. What's that saying?
Roll off your back.
Yeah, there you go. So that's how we're defining the leaves as we're coming in there dark. And then we'll just use the rest of the paint on this one. So I like doing my little edges first. And if you're painting, like I right now, I'm painting these leaves going, oh, I should have painted more petals. But you could paint petals until you fill up the whole canvas. You don't need leaves. I'm gonna make this 2 petals. See, isn't that fun? You can just kind of like, oh, look.
RB.
What did he say?
She told Haley not to eat any paintbrushes.
Haley, I got a lot. You can keep eating them.
Oh, Haley says she has to go.
Oh, no.
Bye, Haley.
I hope somebody's learning something.
I think so.
And then we're going to clean our brush. You don't even have to rinse it at this point because we're going to go with the green again. So let's see how this one does without the mixing. Oh, beautiful. No, it's just a little wet. When the paint is drier, it'll stick down, but right now it's wet. So you got a paintbrush with wet paint on it and paint on your canvas. You would think that the paint would apply to the paint on the canvas, but it's actually the opposite. It pulls up your paint.
Oh.
Yeah, so you can see that here. It's not, it's pulling the paint up. It's in transfer any paint.
So you have to wait till it dries a little bit.
A little bit, or you just glab it in there. And then you can do your veins off of that. They're not showing up. Come on.
And that's just that's the emerald green.
Yeah. It worked better when I mixed it, didn't it? I like the color better. And anyway, if you don't like it, you just erase it. Go like this. But put more paint on there. If you don't like something, you just cover it up. It's acrylics. And then a neat trick. And like right here, it's like, oh, the line's too thick, so I can shorten it or make it thinner. And like there's these cool stripes right here. And I'm like, oh, that's the paintbrush strokes. And that's what I love about brush strokes. They show up. And if you don't like brush strokes, you gotta be really careful. Oh, so when you're painting, there's a dry canvas and a wet paint. And it applies differently than if your canvas is wet with wet paint and wet paint on your brush. And then there's another when your canvas is dry and your paintbrush just has a little bit of paint on it, and it's called a dry brush. And then the texture really shows up, like up in here. That was a dry brush, right? You get this little openings in there. I was trying to do the background with a palette knife, but it wasn't working. Yeah. So now if you want to paint a yellow flower over that, and you're like, oh, the leaf is just so much, it's just taken over. Oh my God, what did they do? You just take white paint and you paint the flower. And well, if it was dry, it would work. But you just paint over what you had. Oh, this is dry. We could do it over here. So you just paint over it with white. I didn't have to go that far. I just had to do a little bit down here. Wipe that off. Oh, so you can't use a dirty one. We'll just get some white paint. And it's dry, and it should go over. Oops, a little bit of orange on there. A lot of orange. And we'll just cover up the boo-boo.
See, that's valuable information.
Oh, good. Okay, so now that I got white paint on my brush, I'm gonna go do some more highlights on the what we got here. Nope. So highlights, I'm gonna use a pointed 7, and I'm gonna grab some of that white paint, and I'm gonna just kind of do some highlights. Now the underleaves, you don't want to really do any highlights because they're supposed to be underneath. That'll help you differentiate the ones on top. Oops. So like I said, you have too much paint, you can just push it off. Yeah. I'm gonna
Bye,
take some-
Cody. Cody has to go, but she said she learned a lot. Thank
Oh,
you.
good. Thank you, Cody. Aloha. If it's dry enough, we can do some shadows. Okay, so if your sunlight is coming from this upper corner, the stuff that is going over my right hand over my left hand, see the shadow it's casting? Well, we have a lot of fluorescent lights, but it'll have one light source. So I was gonna bring a light bulb to show you guys, but it's kind of clunky to bring it. But what happens is, so on this one, I picked that this leaf goes over this this petal, this one. So I put a shadow there, but this one will get a shadow too. So let's see how that goes. Is it okay if I turn the canvas around for them? They're not disorientated.
I don't know. We'll see. So where is your light source coming from?
I'm going to have it coming from here. Oops, I just painted the flowers.
That's fine.
Yeah, paint all over.
It's purple. It's no problem.
That's your purple. I just put a little purple on the corner of the brush, and I'm going to go under anything that where the light is, you know, from the opposite. So if the light is this corner and it's coming this way, actually I think that'd been better than I'm going to change what I already had. So then you know, go under like so.
Oh, somebody else is leaving. They said, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Hukumai Serna.
I didn't want that purple. Get rid of that. Oops. Oh, that's mushy. I'll have to fix that. But I wanted to make the light source from this corner for you guys. So the shadow is dropping on this part, but I had done one real quick and it would change the corner so of light. So like this one would be good. And this way too, you can like,
Thank you, Graceland.
oh, they're all leaving.
Do we still have some people on there? We good?
You're just saying that so I don't cry.
No. I know
Isn't that
Arby's still
pretty?
there.
Doesn't that work good?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a little messy because I'm, you know, but you get the idea. And then you want to
So the shadows go directly opposite from your light source.
yes. Usually do it when it's dry, so it doesn't make a big mess. Shadows you want very crisp. When it falls out of focus, that's cool too, but then the whole thing should be out of focus. So the shadows should be, see, look how it pulls up the paint. Oh, didn't want to do that. It's going to add a little more red dots.
So everybody, we're going to record the whole thing. So if you have to go, we'll send an email out and then you can watch the end if you need to.
Wow, you're lucky. That was the old one. So I'm trying to get rid of a shadow over here. We just paint over it. Or if you have a computer, take a picture and just change the color.
Photoshop it.
Photoshop. And many paintings that I photoshopped to be beautiful. Like I did a hula girl and I wanted a flower in her hair. So I just took a picture of a hibiscus and put it on her hair. And people are like, that is the cutest little hibiscus flower. I mean, it was like a pinhead, but I needed it, you know. A mermaid, she couldn't have nada. I am making a mess. Oh well, the purple's not dry. But it just adds texture to it. Let's see how this is doing. We don't need that.
Oh, can you take a screenshot or two?
How much time do we have? So,
You have 15 minutes.
oh,
You want to do some of the background?
okay. So what I like is to, what do they call that? Ombre, where it goes from light to dark. Just because it shows like you've studied art. So what I do is I just take a tube of paint and I don't put much thought into it. I squeeze it right on the canvas because you're gonna be losing a lot. Okay. And then to be creative, get a bigger brush and then put some white in a little further down. I don't know what's gonna happen when I hit that, but so you're just gonna do like a sky. Whee! And here again, your brush strokes are definitely going to show up because you don't have that undercoating. And I put white in there so it cuts more like a sky. Get some light on there. And see Van Gogh, he swirled, remember?
Yeah.
So you showed movement, and I'm showing some movement, some clouds. But and then you want to get real careful and go around that stuff. I usually wait till it's dry. But we can do a little bit here. Yeah, you don't want to, you want your brush stroke to go all the way across. The hard part about starting here.
But if you had time, you would do the background first and let it dry and then do the paint the flower on top of it.
Yep. Yep, that's the best way because, okay, look, I want to free form a flower for you because we got a few minutes, right? You'll see how fun this is. As long as you have paint and a brush and an old canvas, we go to town. So remember the flower started with a brown center? And you know me, I don't want to start like smack dab in the center. So there's your center. And it just applies so much faster. Yeah. And then you take another brush. You're going to do yellow. Just like I drew in the beginning, I'm just going to go like this around it. Usually you let it dry. Oops. Oh, see what happens? That's okay. They call them happy accidents. Yeah, these brushes stay wet. They hold a lot of water. They're good. I wasn't expecting that. And since yellow is so transparent, you're going to want to go over it. And then, of course, you get some on top. You put them in there. But this just kind of gives you more of a freedom to paint. But then again, so you have to mix a little bit of white in your yellow. I'll show you how that works.
Oh, so it's not translucent.
Mm-hmm. I just do it right on the brush. Ta-da! Well, so my brush is too wet, but let me try the brush. So you do white, and I'll do the dark yellow so you can see it.
So if you were going to go over the canvas, whatever. So if you were going to do the green on there, you'd want to do white with the green as well.
Yeah, this green seems pretty opaque, but this is how you get your white to be a little solid. Your yellow. Oh, I'm not talking right. See, it just needs more white. But without changing the color, you don't want to add that much. Actually, it's kind of pretty, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So now I have a texture going this way and a texture going that way. And so it just makes the petals more ribbon-like because of the texture. It makes it more fun to look at. And when I do a painting, I always do like 3 at a time, just because you teach yourself every time you paint. So the next time you do it, it gets better. For instance, this was 3 days ago and this is today. See, so there's a big difference. I've never painted sunflowers before. And then I was like, oh, I don't want to draw it. I just want to have fun, right? So, and then even the second drawing, well, that was number 1. This is number 2. Even the drawing's better after you paint it. I want to draw it and paint it. So how many canvases did they each get?
1.
Just paint over this one though. Yeah, but you have to express yourself. You can't draw in the beginning and paint. You just paint.
So maybe sketch it on a paper first and then go for the painting if you're, because then it gets better the second time, right? So
or the third time. Yeah.
Do you guys want to show anything?
They're probably better than mine. I hope so.
Anybody want to show what you got? Oh, wow.
My goodness. Oh, it's beautiful. Look at you guys. We have a blue one. I love it. Oh my gosh, you guys.
Oh, perfect.
Oh, even better. See, look at that girl.
Gorgeous.
So you guys are awesome.
Wonderful. Wait, hold on. We're gonna have Michelle take a screenshot. Can you guys hold them up again? Oh yeah. Here, show Michelle's online.
I'm so proud of you. It's
Here's
beautiful.
Michelle's. Okay, everybody hold up
Okay.
your stuff so we can take a picture.
Hold it up one more time.
One more time.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yay.
Fabulous, you guys. So now, does everyone know when the sunflowers are ready to bloom? We can run through the fields and take great photos.
I don't know if they're growing anymore in
You're supposed to be a
Waialua.
good farm in Wamanalo. They let you chomp around. So you guys, would you grow me a farm sunflowers so I can take pictures once a year?
Sure. Does anybody know? Does anybody know if the sunflowers were out this year in Waimanalo?
Yeah.
They were?
So much more time to be in.
Anyone have any questions?
You guys are amazing. You've done this before.
Any questions?
Take your brushes out of your water. Far away.
Questions?
Oh, one of the tricks of not getting your water dirty, like when you're doing watercolors, is you wipe your brush first and then you rinse it off. If you have a lot of paper towel, it's really good to. These brushes really hold their paint. And if I'm working with orange or yellow, and a lot, I don't rinse my brush. I just go into another brush. You guys have so many brushes.
How long would it typically take this painting when it's all done to dry?
Oh, 20 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, this is already dry. Well, not really.
And how long should you let it dry before you spray the clear acrylic on it? Does it need to dry longer, or is the 20 minutes fine?
Oh yeah, I would go half a day. And then you can always retouch too. Like if you after you spray it, you're like, oh, I want to add another highlight or another low light. Go ahead, keep painting on it. I have paintings that I've had for years, and I went the other day and started fixing them. And watercolors too. That's the next class. People think that you can't fix watercolors, and you can. So I had a really beautiful watercolor up on a wall, and someone scratched it, and I was devastated. And I just went in with a wet paintbrush and pushed the paint next to it into the gap, and it filled in. And the
Wow.
scratch wasn't in the paper; it was stuff. She just scraped the paint off, or whoever. I know who did it, so I was kind of pissed. But so anyone ever tells you that watercolors are not fixable, come see me. We'll fix it. And acrylics are fun because they dry quickly. Oils take a year. When you do an oil painting, you can't sell it for a year. You gotta let it dry. And you don't spray it with acrylic coating. You just don't. But, it'll die with Jesus Christ. It'll last forever. It goes in churches and stuff. That's why, But oils are smelly. Acrylics don't have any odor. And if you have like a squeeze bottle of acrylics, you can save it, or you could wrap this in saran wrap, and it'll last about a day before it dries out. But you know how you put too much hand lotion on, and then you take your tube and you suck it back in? So here you suck the air out, and you go. You can actually suck a little bit. These are harder because they're aluminum. But you can get some paint back in there. But like I buy, bottles of acrylics like this. So you can put the paint back in. So since I can say that, I can take this paint and put it in my bottle. And these are cheap. I bought these at Walmart for 50 cents.
Oh,
It's
nice.
so much fun. I've been there 8 years. Yeah. Oops. I got red paint over everything.
Okay.
So like there's some green boo-boo. So I'll just go back in there and cover it up. Acrylics is so forgiving, huh?
So would you go back in? So where it's like kind of outlined right there. Could you go when it's dry, you would go back and like maybe paint a little bit more
Right there.
yellow over it?
Oops, there's some orange on the brush. Yeah. Oh my God, there's so much orange. Where'd it come from? It's still a little wet, so it's not sticking. So just remember that when you have pencil lines and you want to cover them up, use a little bit of white in your paint, and you can cover those up. When it's dry, then go in with your highlights and your lowlights and your shadows. Don't use black or purple. I mean, don't use black, use purple for your shadow, especially with yellow. Oh, I should do shadows on this one. It's dry. We got enough time?
Yep, we have it.
Yeah, 5
Oh,
minutes.
good. So here's the purple. And test your purple. Yeah, see, make sure you like it. The consistency. So let's make that light source from up here again. So there won't be a shadow on this one, right? But there'll be a little bit of shadow here. And there'll be a bigger shadow here. And then the fun thing about shadows, you can do like a texture, so it shows the ripple in the petal below. Does that make sense? So this purple is a little hard. I'm going to put a little water on it. Okay. So the petal has like a groove like that way. So you kind of go like, you get the groove in there. Same with this one, you kind of get the groove. Then it makes it really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then these little flowers, we can go around the little petals, I mean.
That's cool.
Isn't that nice? Yeah, this is easier than paint's not going all over the place. Does that lady have a shaky hand? What is wrong with her? And even this brown thing, you can put a shadow on the center, the seed pod. Yeah, what I got going on here? I think I was going to paint a yellow flower in there, a yellow petal. But that's kind of how you do it. So this petal is going over the bottom. So you go onto there, but don't go into this because there's nothing, the light hitting.
Mm.
The shadow's actually falling on something else. And the shadow wouldn't fall in here, but you can give it a little bit right there. And this one will be a good one. But stop on your petal, don't go further. It's supposed to be a clean, crisp line. You can put a little shadow in there. Instead of doing a shadow too, you can just use orange to darken the petal. And this is very abstract. You can be loose. And then you look away from it, you can see. Oh, another fun thing to do when you're painting is turn your painting upside down and see if you can still read it. If it reads. Oh, this looks so much better, doesn't it? And then we'll do highlights. So when you take a painting class and you can't figure out why your painting doesn't look as good as the teacher's, and that's because she'll leave her whites, or he, whatever. What they do is they don't paint over all the canvas. They leave whites, and they're tricky. So you get a good painting teacher, she'll tell you just draw your whites back in. Toot my own horn. So basically, the top petal is supposed to be lighter.
Mm.
Yeah, Okay, now I'll teach you how to blend. I'm gonna clean the brush and dry it really good. And then you want the white to blend, so it's not a hard edge, because it's the crease in the petal. Let's see how I'm blending. I'm gonna clean my brush off. There, isn't that pretty? So now I think it's too white here. So I go back and get a little more orange and go back and change it. Oops, it's not sticking, right? Why would it stick? It's wet. We need a little yellow back in there. Oops, where'd that purple come from?
It's a design feature.
We don't want that. Yeah. So that's how you blend. And when it dries, it'll be darker, of course. And then you can also do this, smush it around, which is a fun way. And I just grab the purple again. And like I didn't like the point on that one, so I'm just gonna work on that a little bit. And that didn't blend so good, so I'm gonna throw a little yellow on there. And then this one I kind of want dark. So to make your yellow dark, what's a good color? We already did orange. Oh, what is this? Orange. Oh, we already used it. So instead of a lot of yellow on the sunflower, you're gonna have to mix the color. So ketchup and mustard. So it's way too orange. I just wanted a little yellow with a little tinge on it. See, it's so bright. I'm just gonna pick up this yellow with a little orange in it. And see, it's too orange. It has to be more yellow. So you don't have to wash the brush, just clean it off and grab just yellow and kind of push it around together. And use this as your palette to get the color just a little darker than yellow. Go ahead, touch the other. See, it's just a little darker. It worked. So it's just a lot of yellow and a little orange. There we go. And then when that dries, your highlights, oh, there's the dry one. We'll put in the white highlights so you can see again. Oops, that one came out really thick. And what do? We clean off the brush because we still want the orange on there, and then we'll blend it in there. It's also pretty. And to me, well, we shouldn't have really white on the bottom petals. So kind of dust it off a little bit. Letting the paint underneath come through. Because this one I wanted white and this one I wanted a little muted. Yeah.
Nice.
Getting there.
All righty. Well, I hope everybody had fun.
We didn't do the highlight low life on a leaf. Okay. Thanks, you guys. I hope you all learned something. Let's do this again, and we'll do a rooster.
That would be fun.
Because you guys are good. Honestly, I thought this was going to be hard for people to do a light color. But a sunflower is fun because it does turn and twist and has lots of fun features where it's not so particular. And roosters are the same. They have feathers and chromes. And if you'd like, we can do a rooster.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
And then next time, you send out like.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Take care.